Well, heck yeah. Welcome to the H&H podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got a special guest with us here today. Our
Much
cousin,
anticipated.
yes, we got our cousin Brad joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Dude, heck yeah. No, we're stoked to have you. Me and Colton have been talking about it for a long time.
Yes, we have.
Leading up.
Yeah, we connected a couple months ago, and just try and
Yeah, it was
coordinate
middle
different time
during
zones.
Yeah.
yeah, it was during hunting season. I think 'cause I think one of us had to go, not had to, got to go hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
No, but heck yeah. So Brad, tell us a little about yourself.
Born and raised in southern Utah. Grew up very similar to you both.
Yeah.
Living outdoors, camping, hunting, pretty much anything like that. And life happens, work happens, school and all that, and I ended up moving out to Massachusetts. So now I'm just about an hour south of Boston and living the quote unquote city life, but it's a good gig, and I still find a good amount of time to get outside, so it's not all that bad.
Dude, freak yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
So I work for an insurance broker, but it's just a fancy way of saying I look at medical claims in Excel and play on the computer all day. Sit right here. This is my home office, so
Freak yeah, dude.
I spend most of my day right here.
You know what? That's not bad at all.
No, I was telling Colton too as we were kind of getting going. It's good in the sense that I've got lots of stuff around me and I can kind of sneak off in the mornings and either do some fishing or do some hunting or something like that and still be back and on that time. So
Yeah, dude.
it's good. It's a good gig for sure.
That's kind of what got me even more interested in doing the barbering was I'm hoping to get a deal set up to where I'm building a shop behind my house.
Yeah, nice.
That's where I'm going to do it. And so I'll be able to work from home and just be here, watch my kids grow up and sneak off and go fishing and hunting when I can.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a bad deal. I like it.
Yeah. No, so you can sneak away and do any sort of hunting that you want or fishing or yeah.
Yeah, so I mean the seasons here line up pretty well. I mean we've got fish pretty much. I mean I'm 100 yards from the ocean right here, so I can go down and catch stripers off of the shore just right down the road. So that's not bad. Get up early and go fish for a little bit, but during the summer the stripers come through, and the next probably month or so they'll be coming through here and fish, most of the summer, and then when they kick out it's time for deer.
Freak yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that's pretty dang sweet.
It's fun. I mean most of the people here, like the outdoorsmen and stuff, are just, there's a lot of fishermen here. I mean it's huge. Like the Wicked Tuna show, they launch out of north of Boston, and so one of my buddies goes out with his boat and he sees their boats out there all the time. I mean, they're out catching tuna, and it's pretty legit out here.
Flip, awesome. Dude.
Yeah,
it's a little better than rainbow trout.
just a little.
Yeah, they fight pretty good. I'll send you guys some pictures afterwards too, so we can see all those pieces. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Fishing's definitely the off season activity. As soon as deer season's kind of getting close, I don't even remember I have fishing rods.
That's how I feel. I carry a rod with me, just a little dock pole wherever I
Yeah.
go. But again, it's just trout here, so
Mhm.
that's all I need. But
Yeah.
I take that everywhere I go. It's in my car. But
Mhm.
yeah, hunting season, I'm crossing the river. I'm not thinking about fish. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about
no.
the elk up the mountain.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely how I feel. It's funny, just like I'll be super like geeked about fishing, buying all sorts of stuff, and then my trail camera pictures will start rolling in, and then I'm like, well, put it away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. That's I mean, during the ice fishing season, that's all that's on my mind is ice
Mhm.
fishing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden on Instagram and everything, everyone's starting to show turkeys and
Yeah.
bear and
Sheds and
ice fishing couldn't be farther from my mind after that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Speaking of, I think we got turkey starting in a couple weeks here. But I haven't been out much after turkeys here, more just out of, opportunity than anything.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, like in the neighborhoods. Like they'll come through our neighborhood, like through my front yard, and they'll fight you in your yard, but if you see them out in the woods, they disappear, like they're gone.
Jeez.
So they've got it figured out pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, they're one of the smartest, dumbest animals I've ever hunted in my life.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, especially on public land, you're chasing these birds and they couldn't be more smart. I mean, they're just outsmarting you every move. But every once in a while, you get that one bird that one time
Mm-hmm.
that's just, you can say anything to it. You can yell at it and it's still going to come into you.
Yeah. Yep.
I just don't understand how they can be the same species.
Yeah. It's the same as out here. Like I said, they walk through the neighborhood and they'll come within 5 feet of you. They just walk and they're strutting, they're puffed up, they got their fans out and right next to you. And then you go out there and the second they see you, they're just gone. It's crazy.
Frickin' heck.
But yeah, maybe I'll have to give it more of an effort this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's a bug I definitely caught after moving to Colorado.
Yeah.
Was the turkey bug.
Yeah. Do they do a spring season there? Or
Yeah.
okay, nice.
Yeah, so we got ours starting in just a few weeks too.
15th or something like that weekend, usually.
Yeah.
April.
Nice. Probably lines up pretty close to ours then, I would guess.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I wouldn't know, but yeah, usually Colorado's about the mid-April.
Mm-hmm.
So
that sounds about right.
And Utah's not till late April, early May.
Really?
So I'm gonna go out with Carter a couple times, I think. But I was asking him, he's like, "Yeah, I can't hunt till May almost." I'm like, dang it! Those April birds are fun to chase.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of chasing, you have something behind you that you wanted to share with us, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got a couple. Let's see. So I got my first deer. More Utah mule deer here.
Oh heck yeah!
Yep. Just plastic here, but yeah,
hey, nothing wrong with that.
That's him. Yeah. So I shot. Let's see. I shot him. I could probably tell you. 2010.
Gee.
So I would have been a junior. So yeah. So I in Utah, you can hunt. I don't know how it is in Colorado. You guys probably remember, but in Utah, when you're a youth, you can hunt like all 3 seasons, like archery, muzzleloader, and rifle. And I went out. The guy I was working with, he was a dedicated hunter, so he could hunt all 3 seasons. And we went up in archery. We spent every weekend up chasing deer, sitting on different spots. Shot over a couple of their backs. I mean, I had an old hand-me-down bow. Didn't have a rangefinder. Just not the greatest, but so we get through that season. You know, there's some good experience stalking deer, looking for deer, stuff like that. Muzzleloader rolls around, and same thing, went pretty much every time we could. Didn't see a deer, you know, outside of 400 yards in muzzleloader, and so that was not the greatest. But then rifle rolled around, and we had, I think it was 2 weekends we came up and went up the first weekend, saw a couple deer, didn't really get any chances, and then the last weekend, the last day we were driving up, and we got a late start, like work had like, and so we're just driving up, and we're both just like silent because we were just like, we have a couple hours to go home. Like, it's not going to happen. We're all, you know, pissed, and we had hunted hard too, so it's just for all that, like, we're not gonna. And we parked and walked maybe, I don't know, 200. He was standing there with a group of does, just right there, and so pulled up, rest on a, you know, just, I don't know what I rested on it. It's probably like a branch or something, but just rested and dropped him right there. And man, it was, I mean, talk about the shakes and all that. Like, just, it was incredible, you know. And just to have like that season go the way it did, like have so many cool experiences, and then the last like 2 hours just step out of the truck and shoot it. It was good to have all the experience. If that would have happened early on in the season, I don't know if I would have caught the bug, you know, the same way.
Oh yeah,
because definitely earned that one.
Yeah, when you have to earn them like that, it's something else.
Yeah,
it definitely makes it more rewarding, for sure.
Yeah.
Which I have nothing against shooting them opening morning either. But
no.
I was not intentionally shooting over those deer in our tree. I would have happily taken any of those. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. And then I got a couple more too. My last year in Utah, I drew out muzzleloader tag and backpacked in above Draper,
Okay.
northern Utah, and spider webs on there. But we backpacked in like 5-6 miles, and all summer, me and some of my buddies had been hiking up to our campsite because there was no water up there. And so we were going up and we were checking trail cam pics and dropping off big jugs of water, just like stashing them up there. And so we knew we were going to stay there a couple nights, knew we wouldn't be able to clean water or anything. And so we took those up all summer, checked trail camera pictures, you know, blast, went up there with spotting scopes whenever we could. And that was a lot of fun. Like, I'll definitely send you guys some pictures of that one too. But
Freak yeah.
We hiked up and took the muzzle over one of my other buddies, and that was so fun. Like, we were up there a total, I think, of 4 days, and just camping up there, getting up in the morning, glassing different spots. And we knew that was going to be like our only shot, like those 3-4 day window. And so we weren't going to be too picky, but at the same time, like, we didn't want to hike all the way in there and, you know, shoot something real small. But but we went up and kind of decided, like, all right, I want a 4-point, which we'll go over the whole whitetail versus mule deer debate in a minute. But we're talking about mule deer. So a 4-point or better was day one. Day 2, 3-point or better, and then day 3 was anything's getting it.
Yeah.
So I had a chance with this guy on day one, and I just couldn't get set up. I was trying to range him, couldn't really get anything. I wasn't super comfortable with the muzzle loader. It was one I was borrowing, and so I wanted to be like a good, a good chance and good shot. So I didn't make it happen the first day. The second day we didn't really see much. And then on the third day we had some radios, and me and my buddy were radioing back and forth. And I messaged him like, "Hey, I got a 2-point right in front of me." And he's at 50 yards. I'm like, and he's like, I mean, it's your tag. It's up to you. Okay. And so I set the gun down, and I've got like a window there, and I'm looking at him, and he comes through the radio. I have it clipped to my backpack, and he's like, "I don't see a 2-point." I was like, I'm looking, standing at 50 yards. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like, I'm mad because he's talking trying to aim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he's right, like right here to the left of the trail. And he's like, wait, he's like, look like at 80 yards. And I just look up, and this guy's standing broadside at 80 yards. And so I just aim, and I just up a little bit and just smacked him. And my buddy, I won't say exactly what he said, but my buddy he's like, smacked him. He's like, come on. He's like, let's go. So we met up and we sat, and he didn't like drop. And so we sat there for about an hour, and he was with a couple other deer, and they ran into like some thicker stuff. And after that hour, the deer he was with got up and like left. Like we saw them leave, and he wasn't with them. And so, we're high-fiving and cheering and all this and that. And we get down there, and we're just going slow. And then he jumped up and ran up and over the ridge. And
Oh no.
And we both just like, our hearts sank, that like pit like in your stomach.
Oh,
And it was getting dark at that point, and it sucked, but we decided to head back to camp and just try like in the morning, like when we could actually see, and we had a little bit of snow on the ground, which was good, kind of working in our favor. But we went back, made dinner, tried to just talk it over, be like, what did he do? How did it look? And then we went, got up the next morning, had some breakfast. We didn't want to go in before dark. We wanted to wait, till we could see. And went in, got back on his trail, and he was probably another 100 yards just piled up. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. So it worked out good with that. But yeah, we got some cool pictures on that one. It was just fun, to get up there, backpack in, just be away from everything, just the views, taking it all in. It's cool.
heck yeah. That's freaking awesome.
And then right after that, well, probably six months after that is when I moved out here. So
Okay.
it's been whitetail ever since.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you might be able to help us settle the little debate.
Yeah.
What do you like eating better, whitetail or mule deer?
Whitetail, no question.
Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good. I mean, I've never had a mule deer I didn't like, but I have had mule deer that people who aren't comfortable with wild game, they didn't like.
Yeah.
So I've never had somebody try one of the whitetail that wasn't like, oh, this is good. So what I always try to tell people, like going into it, is if you're expecting a hamburger, you're going to be disappointed. Like if you're expecting a beefsteak, you're going to be disappointed, not because it's bad, but because it's different.
Yeah.
And so I always, like, before they try it, before I make it for them, I say, just go into this expecting to try something new. and since then, haven't had too many complaints, and depending on how you make it, like you can't tell the difference. You'd never.
Yeah.
Like one of the things we make a lot is shepherd's pie with the ground, and it's phenomenal. It's good.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
No, what's other than, I mean, you just mentioned the shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
What's like some of your favorite things to make with deer? Whitetail, because that's pretty much what you're doing. But
so my wife made it's like a braised beef. Like people do it with like braised beef, like a slow cooked beef shoulder.
yeah,
We'll do it with whitetail, and then like this like thick gravy over potatoes, and it's nothing compares to that. It's so good.
That's awesome.
But I mean, it's hard to beat just like a backstrap or a tenderloin steak. Like it's, I mean, there's not much to it. Just cook it rare, and it's good.
Oh yeah.
That's the big thing is you got to cook them fairly rare.
Right. And one of the things that my supervisor, I was telling Colton, so my supervisor's a hunter as well, which makes it nice for work because he's pretty understanding during the fall. But he got me into the sous vide. Have you guys tried that?
No,
I've never tried it, but
yeah. So it basically, you put it in bags, like a bag, and it cooks it in water to the perfect temperature. So it's impossible to overcook it because it's sitting at that temperature. It's like a slow cooker almost. And then you pull it out and you just sear it, and then it's done. And it's crazy. Like you do it with chicken, you can do it with chicken, you can do it with deer, elk, anything. So it's pretty awesome. But that's one way that I've liked doing it, because like I said, I'm here at home. So it takes a long time to get to the point, but I mean, it's right next to me. It's in the other room. I can kind of keep an eye on it.
Oh yeah.
So that part works out, but yeah, that's good. Shepherd's pie is probably the one, but anytime we do those other ones is, it's good.
Freak, yeah.
And they're quite a bit smaller. They're a little bit, they're some of the smaller ones are the does. They would be like a yearling fawn, a mule deer. So
yeah,
I'll show you the last one there, and then we can talk tactics and stuff. But just for a frame of reference, these two are about the same.
Gee.
Oh wow.
Like that's no, just the size of their heads there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might be a little bit older, like a year older, but they're not much different. But yeah, this was the guy that I got this year.
So do you think they're like 3.5 or so? Is that what you're looking at?
I'm thinking they're probably about 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
And they definitely do get big. Like I'll show you some sheds later, some of the big ones I have, and I'll send you pictures of those too. But yeah, this was my buck from this year, and this was my first whitetail buck. The only thing I'd shot before this year since I moved here were does, but my wife and I bought this house earlier in 2023, and from day one when we were looking at this spot, I was scouting out spots around here to try and get access to, set cameras up on. Because like I said, the name of the game here is where can you get access, where you're trying to find places that don't have a lot of pressure. And just trying to stay as close as I can to home so that I can get up there, as quick as possible. So I went out to a spot that I had scouted set up, and the first time I sat in that tree, this guy came in, and he first came in probably like 45 yards, and I had shot at a deer earlier in the season and missed, and so I was like, I'm gonna wait till he comes to where I want him. And he came around. It probably took, and it felt like forever, but it was probably only like 5 minutes to get there, work around to where he was 20 yards, and just drew back, shot, and then I heard him crash at like 10 seconds later. So he probably went a total of 50 yards and just so
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
freaking sweet.
It was awesome. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a different world. It's taken up until this year for me to see deer consistently, because it's the tactics, the strategy, all of it is it's learning a new thing. Like it almost comes like second nature, like back home, because you've been doing it since you were little. You know, things that you like, decisions you make as you're going out and hiking. It's almost like second nature because it's what you've been doing. And so then coming out here, it's like, man, these deer do not do what I think they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have the land to work with, you know?
Yeah.
And like us, we can just go, and if we see a deer here and we bump it, we just keep on going. You don't necessarily have that option.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do have a couple spots that are like big, but I mean, if you bump a deer, it's like, man, go back to the truck. We'll get him next week. I think the biggest like area I hunt is maybe like 300 acres, and the smallest I hunt is maybe 15 acres. And so it's hard. The only advantage you have to the bigger area is more the number of deer that might be moving through, because ultimately it's not like you're walking around the 200-300 acres. You're climbing up a tree and sitting there. So 300 acres doesn't do you any good when you can only shoot 30 yards in any direction. So that was the biggest thing. Like this year, like I said, this year was the first year where I was actually seeing deer on a regular basis, within shooting range. Up until this year, I've never passed on a deer. Buck or doe.
Yeah.
Never. You could say that I shot at every single deer I saw for the last 5 years until this year. So
is that by choice then, that you just didn't want to?
Well, I think after like the first few, like I said, I put in a lot of work this last summer, in just finding different spots and trying to be mindful of the wind, trying to be mindful of like daytime, nighttime, different patterns that I was seeing deer, like on the basis I was seeing them. So instead of just like, before it was like, oh, I've got a good wind here, then I'll just go sit there. Now I've got a list of like 10 spots where at night you'd be looking at the wind and say, okay, I'm going to go to this spot. And when I wake up in the morning, I check the different apps I have, and it's like, well, that's not good anymore. I'll go to this one, or this one. Whereas like in prior years, I'd be like, well, I said I was going to go there, so I'll just go there. And then sit there and wonder why I didn't see anything. So, it's way more of just like mental gymnastics and paying attention to conditions and stuff like that here. Because like you said, you don't have the terrain to help you. It's not like you're going to approach from either above or approach from below, or, all those things aren't really coming into play. It's just making sure that you've got a way in, a quiet way in to get up, and you're patient, quiet. I remember the first time, like when I moved here, I was like, this is so cool. Like I just get to climb up and just sit in a tree. Like I don't have to do anything. I just sit here, and then the deer walk by. And well, first off, if you're not used to climbing trees, it's way more scary than you think it would be.
Yeah.
And so the first tree stand I had, came in two pieces, and it would attach to the tree, and then you kind of inchworm up instead of like a ladder that you climb and sit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got up to my hunting height, sat there, and the wind started blowing, and the tree would rock a little bit. Like, oh man, this is rough. And I think I sat there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I was like, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's not like you're glassing. It's not like you're looking. You're just sitting.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I've sat in a tree like, I think it's been twice now. And that first time, worst mistake of my life, because it was the only time I've ever heard bugling in that area.
Yeah.
I had bulls going, but I was committed to the tree. I was going to sit the tree. They're going to come by the water. It was going to be, that's what they had to do, you know. They never did that. I sat in the tree until dark, and the elk were still bugling. They just walked down the fence line and out of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the last time I sat a tree.
Yeah. The first and last.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's foreign to me. I've actually never done that before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had intentions of doing it. Like I talked about doing it this last year, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
So that would be very different.
Yeah. It's again, it's kind of evolved. Like, so now I don't know if you guys have seen any of the videos or whatever, the people using tree saddles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's what I do now.
Oh heck yeah.
And I'll never go back unless I have like property that is like my own that I'm hunting on, that I could just literally walk out my back door and go hunt. Because right now I've got probably 8 or 9 trees that I have picked out where everything I need to climb, set up, and everything is on my back or I'm wearing it. And so one of the advantages, I go in and say I go in there, it's a 20-minute drive or whatever, and I get there and I check the wind and it's changed. Well, then I could go to a number of different trees at the same spot, depending on what the wind's doing. So that's kind of been the name of the game the last couple of years. It's just being able to be mobile, move around. And then the other thing out here is, while there is not a huge like hunting population here, there's enough that these public spots are kind of just, you know, riddled with different types of hunters. You know, you have the weekend warriors, you have the people going out every single day, rain or shine, and then everything in between, you know.
Oh yeah.
You just kind of have to, you don't want to give away your spots. I've seen everything. I mean, when I go out during shed season, I'll just grid it. I'll just walk up, back, you know, these spots, because I can hit the whole thing in a matter of a day, you know, and just look at every square inch of it, because it's really just limited to a certain area. But I'm finding trails, tree stands, you know, trails, all sorts of stuff, and the lengths that people go through to hide their spots here is hysterical. I saw somebody's trail that they had marked, and was walking back to the main trail, and where their trail met the main trail, they had gotten like twine and tied together some branches and like laid it across. So if you walk by on the trail, you don't see anything. But if you just lift that up, this whole bushel comes up and you can walk straight out to their tree.
Jeez.
And so the nice thing about the setup that I use is I go out, climb up the tree, climb down, and then you'd never know that anyone was set up there.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty sweet.
yeah.
So when you get to the tree, how much time does it take you to get up in the tree with the tree saddle set up?
At first it was quite the learning curve. But I use a couple different things. I have these. It looks like a triangle, so it's like I wish I brought it upstairs, but it's like a triangle, and it locks onto the tree like a step.
Okay.
So you put a rope around it, and you put it about eye level around the tree, and you lock it. And then I have a couple of ropes that clip into that I step into, and so with one of those steps, I can get to about 5.5 feet. And then I put the next one on, climb up, and I'm at 10 feet. And I'll usually do 3 of those. So I'll end up around 16 feet. But from the bottom of the tree to the top and like completely set up for the hunt is probably 4-ish minutes.
Oh, that's quick.
It's quick, and you could do it quicker, but the key with it is you're usually doing it in the dark. Or if you're not doing it in the dark, you want to be like as dead silent as you can.
Yeah.
Like in the dark, you can get away with a little bit more, you know, something clanks together or a branch breaks or snaps or something like that. It's, you know, you can get away with it, but sometimes, I mean, it's so thick there, you could have deer 50 yards from you. And I've had it a couple of times to climb up in the dark, and I'll be sitting there, and as soon as I can start to see, I'll look around and deer will stand up 50 yards from the tree and just start walking around and around. So it just depends, you know, what area I'm in, how quick I want to do it versus if I want to take it a little slower. And then one of the spots that's a little bit harder to get to, I leave steps on the tree. And so I'll just take one with me, just that bottom one, because you can't reach the other ones without it. So I'll throw that bottom one on, and then it's quicker and quieter to get up because I don't have to actually set them up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I ended up buying a tree saddle my last year in Colorado thinking I'd sit more.
Yeah.
I don't think I've used it once.
Really?
So, yeah.
We'll have to connect afterwards. I'll give you all the tips.
Oh yeah, most
It
definitely.
can be good. I mean, I could see it being good in the sense of like you get in some like thicker stuff, right? Going after bulls, and maybe you don't need 20 feet. Maybe you need 8 feet. And if you got up 8 feet and you have someone back behind you calling, but you can see over like some brush, you know, with some shooting lanes.
Well, especially early season. Early season's a bugger for elk.
Yeah.
So sitting wallows, I mean, that's the most successful way in early season. But so that's the main reason I got it, was to sit the early season. I was trying to get bear too, and bear focus on water too. So
yeah.
So that was going to be my 2 birds with 1 stone, but I'm not patient enough for it.
Yeah.
I have a chance to go over the next ridge and go over next. My wife will tell you she hates when I say, "Oh, it's just this next ridge."
Oh yeah.
It's never the next ridge,
It's
you know.
Never. Nah, you're full of it.
So I go until I'm like, 5 miles from the truck. That's a little bit far. Probably start going back. But
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, I'll get you converted to it. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will.
It's fun, and I've kind of gone back and forth from like sitting in silence versus I'll put like a podcast on, you know, and I've realized, like, as long as I put it on it like just as quiet as it can go, and as I can hear it, I can still hear like the twigs breaking, you know, squirrels running around. I can still hear that. So I've tried to police myself into just keeping it as quiet as possible, something I can just like listen to in the background, because I mean, sitting up there in the silence can make you go crazy.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
So what kind of bow setup do you have now?
I have the Matthews Traverse.
Okay.
A lot of guys here tend to. The Traverse has like a pretty tall. It's a pretty tall bow, but and a lot of the guys here, like in trees, like to have it a little bit more compact, a little bit smaller. But when I got this one a couple years ago, I went and shot kind of all the Matthews bows, a couple of the Hoyts, and I shot them all pretty comparable, but the difference with this one is like all of them I shot and I was like, I like it. It's good. It's quiet. It shoots good. They're all good, you know. But the first time I drew this one back, it just like rock solid, you know. You just get it back and you just know. You're like, there's no movement, no whatever. It just feels comfortable. And I shot all the other ones probably 10, 15 times. And after the first shot with this one, I was like, yep, this is it.
Yeah.
And
I think that's how we all were with our bows.
Yeah.
What do you guys shoot?
I shoot a Prime Nexus.
Nice.
So I bought it 3 years ago.
Nice.
And still trying to tune it right and everything. It's not tuning as good as I want it to, but it's just like you said, that back wall is just solid. And I fell in love with it as soon as I shot it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a PSE Evoke.
Okay.
And it same kind of deal as you were just talking about. It the first time I shot it, I was like, this bow was made for me.
Right. Yeah.
And it's same kind of deal too. It's a longer bow. Dude, there's nothing I don't love about it.
Yeah.
It's quiet, it's smooth. It was made for me, dude.
Nice. That's good. Yeah. It's funny, like it, and I use it pretty much all season. So the way the seasons are set up here, they're broke up into different units, and there's like coastal units, and then there's more western units in Mass, and the coastal units all start the first Monday of October, and archery runs like 5 or like 6 weeks. So it'll run like 6 weeks, and then shotgun is 2 weeks, and then muzzleloader goes from the end of shotgun through December 31st. So I basically have like a 3-month season where it's like archery, shotgun, muzzleloader. But the way that there's like a hierarchy they set. So archery is archery only. Shotgun, you can shoot anything. Shotgun, muzzleloader, archery, and then muzzleloader, you can do muzzleloader and archery.
Okay.
So if I'm in a spot that there aren't like neighborhoods relatively close during muzzleloader or shotgun, then I'll take the muzzleloader. But most of my spots, I pretty much just take the bow because, I mean, I'm a couple hundred yards from. So,
yeah.
I don't need to scare anybody.
So what's the tag situation like there?
It's kind of evolving, like a year-to-year thing, but the biggest difference is you get, when you buy your hunting license, you get 2 buck tags, statewide buck tags. And then depending on which unit you put in for doe tags, it's either unlimited or it's a draw. And most of the like Western units have more hunters. and so it's a little bit harder. These coastal units where I'm at, there's tons of deer, tons of cities, so they're trying to manage the populations a little bit more. So like where I'm at, I could buy as many doe tags as I wanted, and they're $5 each. So if I wanted to shoot, actually I can take that back. It just doubled, so they're $10 each.
Oh, dang it!
Slap.
Yeah. So yeah, I could shoot a doe a day from October through the end of December if I wanted to.
Jeez.
And I kind of like, there's not like most of my friends and family here will eat it if I give it to them. So that's kind of why I was like passing on the does this year. Like I just shot my buck. I had some does come in, and I was like, it still got quite a bit, and I'm not, you guys know how it is. I'm not in it to just shoot whatever, but but if I would have seen some of the bigger bucks I had on camera, it would have been a different conversation.
Oh yeah. No, I remember you showing us some of those bucks, some of the pictures you had.
I know. Actually, where did I put? I know I have a couple sheds here. Let me see if I can. I'll show you the difference, like because they do get big.
Yeah.
So just for reference, so here's that buck from this year, and then here's a shed.
Oh wow!
That I
Good Lord, Candace.
Like, I mean, look at that eye guard.
The eye guard, the mass,
freak,
and the mass carries all the way through that thing.
Holy crap.
Yeah, he's a monster. I mean, like, just look at the difference in that.
Yeah.
Like this was a big one, and I've got trail camera pics of this guy. Never got a chance at him, but yeah.
You think he's still alive, or?
I don't know. If he is, this was from 4 years ago. So if he's still alive, he's a monster.
Mondo. Yeah.
Trying to think if I have any more sitting around here. I think I do actually.
Thing's a freaking stud.
Right.
This one's pretty big. This one has less mass, but it's got some cool character.
Oh, what the heck?
Like this little dip here. And this buck was wide. I mean,
yeah, that thing's sitting way out there.
It's not like it comes clear out. But yeah, this one I had on camera for a little bit, but I never did see him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the average color then? Is that a brown?
Yeah. So this was pretty fresh. This one.
Gotcha.
This one I think was from the same year, if I remember right when I found it. This was from the same year, but yeah, that's pretty much the color.
Gotcha.
Like, and you could see, like this doesn't have like any, any whiting. That would be a brown. But I mean, most of the things out here have eye guards. Like even this little guy's got what I would consider eye guards, and then you go back to the whitetail, and you've got little nubs here.
That's what one of the biggest sellers on sheds. Like that's why I keep this one around. Just the cool, long eye guards.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's not as common on mule deer.
No, I've only got one buck that's had an eye guard. Didn't have both, just had one.
Yeah, I've never had one that has that big.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My entire palm. I don't have a tape measure in here, but that's like what, 8 inches? I'm just kidding.
Hey, you have big hands, so.
Yeah. No. it's cool. Like, and they're all different. They're all unique, and but yeah, it's been quite the experience. Learning. Like I said, this year's the first year I've seen deer consistently. So,
And
it's
that's really fun when you finally figure out what you're doing in different areas.
yeah,
Like the place we deer hunt. Our first deer we've hunted there, we were shooting the first thing we saw.
Oh, dude,
So yeah, Caden's first buck there was itsy
Your-
bitsy.
your whitetail that you got this year was bigger than the buck I shot.
nice.
100%.
So, but then as soon as we started learning it, we realized we can actually hold out and find some big bucks.
Yeah,
Pulled this one out of there this last year.
I just watched that actually earlier today. That
Yeah.
was cool. That was cool. I like the storytelling aspect of it. So much of this is just talking back and forth, telling stories.
Oh yeah.
Just being excited, reliving it, and someone who gets it, really gets it.
Yeah.
No, it's it. I mean, listening to any of the podcasts that we do, the same stories told over and over again, multiple different times.
Yeah.
And then when we get together, the same stories told over and over, multiple different times.
We were able to get together this weekend, me and Caden. We got a shed trip going. And Hunter came too. But yeah, some of the stories we were sharing were like, we know we've shared them with each other before, but they're just so fun.
Yeah. Half of them, we were all there together anyways.
Yeah. That's funny. With my supervisor being an archery guy too, it's hilarious during season, right? So what's nice is I didn't set this up intentionally, but it's worked out really well. Like, my busy season is like the summer. And so what I do compared to some of the other people in the office is, like, I have a lot of stuff going on in the summer, and then we hit August, September, it kind of slows down, and then everyone else gets busy, so they don't really bug me for anything. And so we get into October or December, and it's like, I'm going to go sit tomorrow morning, or I'm going to dip out a little early today. And I'll just send my supervisor a note and be like, hey, you need me this afternoon? Like that. He'll just say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Go shoot the big one.
Yeah. And I mean, like, he'll usually just say, send pictures, whatever. And then the next day when I log in, I'm like, I'll log in and I'll just send him a note, say, hey, tell me a story. And then he'll call me and we'll just, talk back and forth and talk about how cold it was or whatever, this or that, or what we saw. And that's the other thing too, like, being in such an urban area and hunting and sitting up in a tree and being quiet. I've seen some of the weirdest things. Just this last season, just down the trail from where I shot that buck, I was sitting up in the tree. I was listening to my podcast, watching squirrels, and I started hearing bells, like sleigh bells. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I know that I'm like pausing my podcast. I'm like, I wonder if it was like something on my phone. I'm like, no, I still hear it. And then I kind of peek down. I can kind of see the trail. And then I can start to see like some like blaze orange like coming towards me, and the bells are getting louder and louder and louder. And sure enough, there was this lady on a massive horse with blaze orange like vests on, and she was guiding on a leash a mini horse that had a blaze orange vest on. And they're running by, they have sleigh bells, and I'm like sitting up there, like pinching myself. I'm like, did I just pass out? Like, what's going on?
I just hit my head on the way down the tree or what?
Yeah. And stuff like that. Like, I mean, out here on these trails, I'm seeing people out walking their dogs, walking, like talking on the phone. I'm just up there, minding my own business, trying not to let them see me. With the saddle, I can usually keep the tree in between me and them so they don't see me. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny what you see when you don't move.
Yeah. No, that's got to be some of the weirdest things I've heard.
Yeah, I'm sure I have more, but I mean that one really, really takes the cake. That one of the spots, like a lot of people out here are kind of adverse to hunters and hunting, so I don't really like broadcast it unless I like know the person. And one of the spots I park at, they didn't see me. They walked right by me. And when I walked back to the truck, they had this they put this angry note on my truck. It'd be like, you better not be out here hunting, like this and that. Next time I come through here, I'm coming with an air horn. Like, oh boy.
That's ridiculous.
Some people just don't understand, and it is ridiculous.
Yeah. And to some degree I get it, because they have this fabricated, idea of what it is we're doing, And there are some people that kind of perpetuate that stereotype with what they show, but 99% of us are just out there because we love it, And what I try to explain to people is like, just because I'm killing the deer doesn't mean I don't care about it any less than you do. In fact, the amount of time I spend thinking about these animals, learning about them, trying to figure out their movements. I mean, I've got, I think I'm up to 8 cell cameras now. So I'm getting pictures constantly, So I spend most of my time looking at trail camera pictures, thinking about deer, looking for new areas, hiking around. So it's, you guys know how it is, but.
No, I catch myself thinking about looking outside and seeing all the snow and just like, how bad is this going to affect the deer this year?
Yeah, right.
And 90% of the people that don't hunt and don't do any of that don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look out there and see, ooh, I wonder if they're gonna have enough food. They look out there and see a fluffy deer eating in the yard.
Yeah,
That's all they care about.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that people can do to help, obviously, but yeah, that's something that every day I'm thinking, I really hope this doesn't hurt the deer herd again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I barely, especially back east. I don't know. I think it was Randy Newberg or something that I was listening to that said, people back east that hunt, especially like little plots of land and everything, they put more into conservation than anybody else because they want their deer there. They improve habitat. They do all that. We do that out in the West here, but it's a lot harder when you have this huge expanse of land,
Right.
But you get a bunch of people with their 30 acres that create this prime habitat, and then they take off and keep it healthy.
Right.
And I mean, that's the best way to keep things in shape.
Yeah. It's been good here. Like I said, it's kind of an evolving thing. So some years if the doe population looks like there's a lot, they'll increase it like they did last year. Last year it was unlimited for these ones. And a couple of years ago, there's still a couple of units that they'll have like surplus tags where you can buy like one a day, but then they'll run out. And so then they manage it that way. But I mean, the deer here have like exploded in a lot of these spots, especially these eastern spots, because it's so densely populated that they can just live in neighborhoods. And so they really are trying to encourage people to go out because they're getting hit by cars. The deer ticks here are, I mean, I can't tell you, when I was growing up in Utah, all the times hunting out there, I saw maybe a total, like on my person, a total of 3 or 4 ticks. Like when you get a deer or you get something, you'll find ticks on them. But as far as like getting ticks on you, it was maybe 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
If I go out into my yard right now and roll around, I'll come back in with 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So the ticks here are crazy. Take the dog out walking. She will come back in and I'll pull 5 or 6 of them off of her. It's insane. And there's a couple spots here. They're the islands. So we've got Martha's Vineyard, which is off Cape Cod. And then we've got Nantucket, which is off there as well. And both of those islands have so many does and so little opportunities to hunt there that they have bounties on them.
Oh, shoot.
So if you go over to the island and you shoot a doe, that's just one doe, but any doe that you shoot past your first one, you get $100 for. Like the state pays you.
Dang, Gina.
But the hard part is
Let's go shoot a bunch of deer.
I mean, I'm not joking. If I can get us some access over there, we could go lay the smack down. That's just the hard part is everything. I mean, it's a very wealthy island as far as the people that are residents there, have summer homes there, and so there's very little opportunity to hunt public land. But I mean, there's a couple areas, and like I'm on some like forums and stuff for Massachusetts hunters, and they'll get groups together during shotgun season and they'll go shoot 40, 45 does in a day.
Flap.
Yeah. And it's incredible, you know, and it doesn't hardly dent it, you know. So it's definitely a different target rich environment.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like for more where you're at? Do you know what it's like for non-residents to be able to come hunt there at all?
I'd have to look up the prices. I could do it right now if you wanted, or but I feel like it's maybe a couple $100 for a non-resident license. But just like with my license here, you get 2 buck tags, and then you can buy some doe tags. And so, but yeah, if you guys were to come out here, you know, depending on how much time you had, I'd say get a hunting license and buy a doe tag. That way, whatever comes by can, you know, have at it. We do have a bear season out here.
Oh yeah, bear.
Mm-hmm. They're mostly in the northern part, so like on the border of New Hampshire, but even that's only like an hour and a half away. And then Western Mass, like 2 hours away, there's a lot of bears over there.
Can you bait them?
No, you can't, and you can't use dogs.
Okay.
It's basically like you're hunting whitetail, just sit, but you can't bait whitetail either. You can bait up until two weeks before the season. But in reality, it doesn't. There's so much food here. It's so green. The only reason I've ever used it is to get better trail camera pictures. Like they're not coming back to your bait site because your bait's there. They're posing, you know.
Holds them there longer, so you
can stand there longer because there's bait, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but with bears, it's just the same thing, you know, sitting in a tree, kind of patterning them.
So do you have to apply for it then, or as a resident?
Nope, bears, same thing. Just buy a tag. I'm not sure if it's a statewide tag or you have to do the zone, like the zones thing with bears, but it's the same thing. It's $10. Yeah,
they probably get pretty fat out there too.
Yep. There's a handful. It's funny when one kind of wanders over, because their native range is all through here, but with all the the cities and stuff, they've really moved west in the state and north. But every once in a while we'll get one that comes through and it'll just be like all over the news, like Buster the Bear's in Oregon. Oh, now he's in Plymouth. Oh, he's on the beach over here. Like, it's funny. They'll kind of track him, and the problem with that too is then inevitably he'll stumble on a hunter who has a tag, and next thing you know, this guy killed Buster the Plymouth Bear. Yeah, that happened this last year. There was a bear that was pretty popular on different like town Facebook groups, and a hunter shot him legally. And
no, that's a pretty easy follow. And you just be like, oh, he's in town now. Let's go stand.
Buster's back. Let's go sit. Yeah.
No, that's a shame that they publicize it so bad in that form.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he did everything right.
Yeah. Like if he's doing it illegally, if he's shooting it off the road, whatever, different. That's different. But he was in a legal spot, he had tags, he had license, so that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What kind of broadheads do you shoot?
I actually changed it up this year.
Okay.
I was using fixed blades. I had Ozcut.
Oh, okay. Did you like those?
I liked it because they shot really good.
Mm-hmm.
They shot pretty close to my field points, like for being a fixed blade. I used I think it was called the Hurricane. It's like a it's like a 3 blade, so it's not like their bigger one. And I shot a deer with it last year, and I mean he didn't go. He probably went 20 yards. I watched him tip over. It's just a little button buck. I thought it was a doe. So I guess technically this isn't my first buck, but it's my first antlered deer.
Yeah.
But
with a button buck, you have to throw your buck tag on it, don't you?
No. So
no.
So they call them antlerless permits. So it's antlerless or antlered. So if it's under 4 inches, then you put your antlerless tag on it.
Dang.
Yeah. So, my buddy from the office was messing with me. He's like, "Why don't you throw your antlerless permit on that?" All right. He shot a monster this year, so he's got his time.
He's got a little bit of bragging rights for now.
Yeah, he's got the bragging rights. But yeah, so I just put the antlerless tag on it. But I liked that broadhead. But I had some just had some rage ones, and that deer I shot at earlier this year, I lost that arrow, and it had my last of the Ozcut on there. So I used the rage for this buck, and I mean, like I said, he didn't go anywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's not too thick then, like brush wise.
No, it kind of just depends on where you go.
Gotcha.
A lot of it is like low pines, or just like kind of like scrub oak almost.
Okay.
So it can get thick, like depending on where you're walking, but you can usually pick your way through pretty good.
Gotcha.
But my one gripe with the rages is those collars are so finicky. Like I've snapped so many just putting my arrow back into my quiver, and so I may go to the no collar. They have like a no collar one. I might do that, but I also might just order some more Ozcuts because I like those. I don't have to worry about messing it up, or if I bump it on the tree when I'm trying to set it up in there. Because that's the other thing is, like, one of the times this year, put the arrow in and I go to hang it on the hanger, and it bumps a limb, and I just see one of the points go pop
Oh,
out.
no.
I pull it off and I like adjust the collar around till it's on one and tighten it back up. I'm like, well, I can't do that again or I'm going home.
Yeah.
So that's really my only gripe. Like I love that they open up, they cause a big wound channel, but man, if you're trying to walk around with one that collar breaks, it's annoying.
Caden's had his fair share of broadhead failures.
Oh, good Lord, dude.
Using mechanicals?
Yeah, that one was that one mechanical? I don't remember. I think
were
it was.
shooting mechanicals at that time, yeah.
Yeah, because that was that first elk year. Dude, freaking most of the time I glue mine in, the inserts for, and had done that with this broadhead,
Mm-hmm.
and was chasing after a bull that I had come across, pretty big bull, and I was able to get around and cut him off. And when I got to him again, we were at 60 yards, really close to, and dude, he was perfect. He was broadside, just looking right at me, not moving, nothing. Drew back with him looking at me. He didn't move. As I'm going to shoot, I look at the tip of my arrow. My freaking broadhead's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
The whole thing's gone. The whole insert and everything came out. I was like, how the freak does that happen? Go to let my arrow down, and as I just took the arrow and chucked it, dude.
Yeah.
As I'm putting the next one on, that bull took the heck off.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you looked down and it was already open.
Yeah.
No, not even that. He probably was sent to even with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I definitely would have. No, freaking the whole thing was gone. Just a blunt tip at the end.
Jeez.
I still think you should have sent it and see what happens.
Yeah, watch it just thump him. Look at it like, what the hell is happening? Just walk off.
May have given you some time to get another one in there. He's too confused.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I might go back to a fixed. We'll see. Kind of depends.
No, I've shot those annihilators. They're a lot like the Oscuts.
Okay. Nice.
In the design, and I really liked those.
Nice.
In fact, I carry one of those, and then I'm shooting. I decided to go to expandables. I'm shooting severs, and those things just fly like a champ.
Right. That's kind of been my biggest reason for it, at least initially, was just it's kind of foolproof. You just throw it on there and they just shoot straight. Whereas the target I have is a field tip only.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, for the most part, I'm shooting 20 to 30 yards, like 30 yards max. Like I can shoot further, but I can't see further. So
Yeah,
it doesn't really, doesn't make a difference if I can shoot that far. So I'm probably fine with the broadheads, even if it's not like perfectly tuned with it. But it's hard. Those mechanicals, they just fly so good.
Well, and the thing I like about the severs is they have a set screw. So you can actually set the blades, then shoot them into your field point target, and they don't expand.
That's cool.
So you're shooting your actual broadhead that you're shooting.
That's cool.
So I've really liked the severs. I haven't shot anything with them yet, but I really like the way they fly and whatnot.
So with when you put that set screw in, so do they have collars on those ones then, or no?
I think they got O-rings. I'm not certain. It's been a second since I looked at them. I think they have O-rings that help them hold back, but it's not as needed as the collars are, you know. Yeah. But like I shot Rage for a little while. I tried. I really like trying things, so I've tried a lot of different things, and then kind of stuck with what I liked.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that's why I always carry an annihilator, because I liver shot a bull, and that blood trail just never closed up.
Yeah.
So I was able to follow that blood trail all the way. But with that rage I was shooting, it was a raised chisel tip, and yeah, I got so frustrated with those collars that I just stopped shooting them.
Yeah,
together.
that's kind of been my experience with them so far. One of the things a lot of the guys out here will do is the ones they're not rear opening; they open from the front. Some guys here have kind of sworn by those because it's almost impossible for those to fail. You know, you get a rage that gets stuck or a collar that gets stuck, it just punches a little hole in them, and maybe you're lucky and it dies. But some of those the front opening ones, the guys have really liked here. I haven't tried them yet, but
that's what you shoot, isn't it, Caden?
That's what I did until I got these fixed blades. But yeah, the Schwackers.
Yeah,
That's my father-in-law and a couple of my sister-in-laws. That's what they shoot, and so I tried it out. And I mean, I haven't gotten anything with them yet, but and plus I switched over to these fixed blade ones. But they my sister-in-law shot a cow a few years ago with them, and they'll leave a pretty dang big hole in,
Yeah.
whenever you're shooting.
Good.
So yeah, no, they swear by those and they love them.
Nice. You'll have to send me what those fixed blades are, because I gotta do something else this year. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but
Oh yeah, I honestly don't even know what the freak they're called. They came when I bought the bow. I bought the bow from someone, and they came with the bow.
yeah.
But they're these.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
dude,
got like the 4 blades, but
yeah,
Yeah, it's got the bleeder blades and then the fixed.
that's cool.
it shoots just like a field tip.
Yeah, good.
We had a couple targets set up. One's just for field tips and one for broadheads, and there was not an ounce of difference between the two shooting
Nice.
them.
Good. Yeah.
No, that's my annihilators were the same way. I mean, I can stack them on top of my field points,
Nice.
but they're a little bit loud. That's the only complaint that I've read about them.
Mm-hmm.
Is they're a little bit louder just because of their design. But shoot 30 yards and under, you're not worried about loud as much.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is the deer here drops so fast. Like,
Yeah.
you have to they'll do this thing, and I've kind of tested it out with this year because I saw so many deer coming through, just to try and like see what kinds of movements I could get away with. Because like I said, every other year it was like I was shooting at everything I saw. So this year I was like, all right, well, I don't want to kill this deer, but let me at least draw on him and just see what kind of movements get their attention, see what makes them spook. And they'll do this thing. They come in, and if they catch you moving somehow, their ears will perk up. They'll kind of turn their ears towards you, but they'll put their head down, and then they'll turn up quick and look. And then they'll put their head down slowly, and then they'll turn quickly to try and like catch it moving. And it's bizarre. Like, I had heard people talking about like deer doing it, and they'd never seen it until then. And every time they stuck their head down, they were just ready. And I can't remember which podcast I was watching, but they took a bunch of people shooting at deer, did it in slow motion, and when they had their head down, they could drop that shoulder twice as fast than when they had their head up. And it was something to do with, as they're pulling their head up, they're pulling their shoulders down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mechanical advantage. While if their head's up, they have to just drop their whole body. And so this year, the 2 times I had chances at a deer, try and get them to stop, not only to stop, but to have their head up and looking at you, which sounds kind of like counterintuitive. They've got their head down, they're like ready to bounce. versus if they're looking at you, they've got to do something else to figure out how to jump out of the way.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool research.
Yeah.
So
But
I've never had an animal drop on me worth anything here. But
Yeah.
I did fling an arrow this year that I shouldn't have. There was a distance that I was shooting, and I felt like I could make the shot. And it was a long distance. And that elk was gone before the arrow got there.
Yeah.
But like his whole body was gone. I watched the arrow, and I actually have it on my brother was filming it. I watched the arrow, and the arrow would have struck him good.
Yeah.
But the elk was long gone by the time the arrow got to him.
Yeah, that's what's funny. Like you watch those slow-mo videos, and you pinpoint where the arrow went, and then the deer's down here, and it's like, wow, that guy just sucks. And then if you rewind it, it's like the deer was there.
Yeah.
And then down there. So
no, I shouldn't have taken the shot. I think it would have had a better opportunity on him if I would have just let him walk away. But it was last day of season for archery. In Wyoming, I can go into rifle. I can go hunt rifle with this particular tag. But yeah, I drew back and I was like, this is a long shot. And I know I've made it time and time before, but it's a long shot. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna send it. And yeah, that bull didn't like that.
He's just dirt.
Yeah, like his whole body went and gone. So
yeah.
So I know my distance on elk now. I can't shoot that far. 100 yards is way too far. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, this part of the season, just watching trail cam pics, watching deer grow up.
They're not still holding on over there, are they? To their antlers?
No, they drop in early February. Like they drop pretty early.
Gotcha.
I haven't found any this year. I've only gone out a couple times. My dog is kind of trained. She knows how to do it, and we have dummy ones that we'll go and throw out there, and she's really good at finding those. But the ones she's found have been ones that I've seen first.
Yeah.
Kind of just like walk around and give her some time, and she always finds them. But I'm just waiting for the time where she grabs one and comes running towards me. That's going to be the greatest day.
Yeah.
So it's fun though. She loves that's her element. She loves going out there. She's a Malinois, which they're like fit, athletic German Shepherds, basically.
Yeah. That's my dog I have is half of that. Half German Shepherd, half that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And man, they're high strung. They're wild, but as soon as you get her outside, she just has a ball. She'll go all day without stopping.
Heck yeah.
Cadence will not. We learned that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
she would have kept going, but she didn't want to go where we were going.
No.
I didn't want to go where we were going.
No, that's me and Hunter just had to go.
No, that video is gonna be fun, but yeah, it's like hunting over by Moab or something where you just have to scale cliffs to get up to some of these spots.
Oh yeah, she wasn't a big fan of most of the trip we were on. My husky I have, she loved it. She couldn't have been more in her element, but yeah, that dog of mine wasn't too happy to be there.
That's funny. Yeah, she constantly jumps up on stuff. Like there's big like granite boulders, and I'll be walking by it, and she'll see it and just standing on top of it, and she's just like,
"That's awesome!
Let's do it!"
Heck yeah!
Yeah, so
sweet. Well, we've kept you for an hour and a half almost.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. I'm just kidding.
I know. No, heck,
we're definitely gonna have to do this again here soon.
yes,
So,
Once
100%.
we get into the striper season here, we'll have to reconvene and we'll talk fishing a little bit more because it'll be a little bit more on the mind. But
Yeah,
yeah,
great, yeah, dude.
it's good. There's always something to do.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I mean, spring bear's starting here in a couple. I guess I could right now go. What is today? 26th. I think spring bear's opened for archery.
Nice.
And some of my units here.
dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
That being said, I haven't shot my bow since I launched that 100-yard arrow, but
that's so you can tell yourself it's not sighted in, right?
Yeah. And
if
my
you
wife
don't shoot it again, it's knocked out of sight.
Yeah. Well, that and my wife doesn't want me going after bear with my bow alone, which I get.
That's fair.
But that's
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hopefully get it for a third year in a row. Maybe tag out this year.
There you go.
You could have last year, but that dang sow just didn't want to leave her cubs.
Oh heck. Yeah, that was something else. I don't know if you heard that one.
I don't think I did.
It was the last day of the season, and me and my buddy were out. We were looking for elk. We had camped out for a couple days. And on our way back to the truck, came into this meadow, and there were two bears right there in the middle of the meadow, and one was good size, but the other one was quite a bit bigger. And the smaller one ended up taking off. So we snuck down there, got right up to her, and she was eating on a gut pile. So she had no clue I was there. She was sitting down, looking the other way, and I got 10 yards from her. She's looking directly away from me, sitting down. So I'm just going to put her right in her back, and drew back. Everything was perfect. My buddy had his camera out ready, and all of a sudden that little cub comes walking out. We hadn't seen it before. Little cub comes walking out from behind the sow. And I was just like, oh, flip, dude. Put my arrow down. I was like, we got to go. 10 yards. I was like, man, she's going to turn and be right on us quick.
At least you didn't accidentally smoke the cub.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be back whenever after a couple of the spring seasons and after some fishing. We'll have to recap,
Yeah,
more stories. And
I do have one more question.
Yeah,
are you putting in for Utah anymore or any other Western states, or are you just sticking there for now?
I've thought about it. If I do end up doing it, I'll just try for a general rifle season somewhere, like over by St. George. The hard thing is non-resident, like being a non-resident. I mean, you guys know, like putting in, I don't even know what it was. Last time I looked, I was like, man, I don't know if I could justify.
You're about 100 and I forgot what I paid for Utah. 130, somewhere in there just to apply.
Yeah, and it's like, and then on top of that, I got to fly across the country.
Yeah.
And then I've got so much family there that it's like, if I'm flying out there,
it's got to be a longer trip than.
It's got to be longer than just to go hunting, as much as to go out. Like there's some big bucks. I'll have to dig some of the sheds from Utah out of the basement for next round, but there's some big desert bucks out there.
Okay.
Frick, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I've ever since you shot your buck this last year, I've been wanting to get a whitetail, so we may be making a trip sooner than later.
Yeah, let me look it up just to stoke the fire a little bit. I'll try and
Yeah,
see it.
dude.
Do it on my phone. I'll see how much a non-resident license is.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than any of the other states we put in for.
I was going to say a lot cheaper than any of the non-resident states I put in for already.
Like
Right.
Utah's going to be over 5 by the time everything's said and done.
That's crazy.
Colorado,
are you putting in for actual tags or are you putting in for points?
Both.
yeah, I think we're going to try to cash our points this year. Caden's been putting in a year or two longer than me.
Yeah, I've got 6 Utah points.
And I've got 4.
There you go.
And
so
still can't freaking draw it. So we're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where
we can't.
have you been trying? Have you been trying San Juan around there?
Been ridiculous. And archery only,
Yeah.
That's the best season in my opinion there. And I hunted it once. That's why I have 4 points. So it was 5 years ago, I guess, 6 years ago, that I hunted it on my own. And then I've hunted it with my cousins on the other side quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I got to know fairly well where some of the bigger bucks hung out, but it's just gone downhill so much.
All right, let's see. Hunting permits. Should show prices here. Yeah, maybe I might have to find this for next time, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, we'll have to plan ahead and see if in the next year or two we can get out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by then I'll have hopefully a couple spots locked down and we can get you something. And I've got a pretty good butcher here that'll I think my buck was maybe $120 to process and freeze, and I think he has like a $90 minimum, and then after that it's pay by the pound kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it ended up being April 29th. This one, spring turkey opens up.
Okay.
There you go. But yeah, it wouldn't be hard. I mean, especially if you came out in if you were able to get your bows out here, that would be
That's
easier.
what I would do.
We'd have a lot more time, could get you set up in a couple different spots. We'd have a lot more options. But if you can't get any of your weapons out here, then we could go with mine and wouldn't be bad.
Gotcha.
Actually, now that I think about it, Massachusetts is weird about their weapons things. So I think archery might be your only option unless you come get a firearms permit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Not all that interests me, but that's what interests me is shooting with the bow.
Same.
Yeah. I think we can make it happen. That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. Then we'll have to, when we can make it happen, we'll have to get you down here for a hunt.
I was about to say we gotta get you.
Go.
We gotta get you a big old buck.
What's the non-resident situation for where you guys are?
We may have to help pitch in a little bit, but
yeah, it's. I think when everything's said and done, you're 700 for a deer tag.
Is it hard? Is it hard to draw, or they're just like you buy a tag?
Our unit, I'm at 1 point, and I have a 30% chance of drawing.
Okay.
With Go Hunt, Colorado just drops non-resident percentage, the percentage of non-resident tags as well, so it might go up, but 2 to 3 years is for our unit is about average right now.
To get a point, do you have to buy a license?
You have to buy a $100 license.
Oh, okay.
The qualifying license, it's just over, it might be 98 or 103. I don't remember because I was just looking in to see if I was going to buy a turkey tag or a license. Because those are qualifying licenses, so that's all you need. You don't need a hunting license for Colorado.
Okay,
All you
cool.
need is a qualifying license, which is a small game license or a turkey tag. Right?
Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
nice. So that'd be something. If I just got a point or 2 or 3 even,
Mm-hmm.
then we could make, because that's the other thing, logistically it's quite the undertaking getting there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not a cheap whatever, but
Right.
we know the deer there, so that'd be a
Yeah.
different. We get you a good buck.
Yeah.
Well,
And we've
and going there versus going to Utah, I don't have as much of a family pressure. So
yeah.
she's like, hey, I'm here to hunt, okay?
Mhm.
And I think Caden, I think you missed this part, but Carson just moved to Grand Junction.
No way.
Yeah, so he's working there. He's a lineman there.
Flip, dude. If I knew that, I was there. I was there the other day. I just tried to say hi if I could have.
Yeah, send him a message. I mean,
Yeah.
he works
Dude.
like
We'll have to tell Hunter because Hunter's in Delta, which is
Mhm.
like 30 minutes from Junction.
perfect.
He
Yeah,
goes to Junction all the time.
yeah. I don't know where exactly he's working, because he doesn't work like in town. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they have a yard. They have a yard somewhere there, and then they go off to their spots. But yeah, you'll have to reach out, and that'd
Yeah,
be a
dude.
good excuse to come see him and
Dude,
Lefty.
have him come with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
No,
you go.
that unit's not that far from there.
No.
Okay,
So
I'll call him and I'll say, hey, start putting in some points, and then we'll both.
oh, he only needs
One is 100% draw
Oh,
so
really?
he
for a
could draw it
resident.
this year if he really was lucky. I think the only
Okay.
person in our wait,
If
my
Hunter
brothers will draw it, but
if Hunter puts in for him, he could draw
that's because
Okay.
that kid's like insanely lucky.
it.
But
Hunter's the luckiest catch alive.
I'll have to. I'll talk to him, and we'll try and
Yeah,
figure
dude.
that out, because that would be fun. Come
Yeah.
Yeah.
do a hunt. Yeah, good excuse to come out and spend some time in the woods
Mhm.
and hunt the way I'm used to.
Oh yeah, that's
Dude, it's
glassing and until you find the right buck, and usually the right buck just runs out in front of you.
yeah. I think it was 2 years ago when we were together last, Colton, during that deer hunt. I think Hunter had passed on 50, 60 bucks before he.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
And I mean, most of them were like little 2 points, and
Well, he passed on yours originally.
yeah, he passed on that one. We both were looking at this one, getting ready to shoot, and then he was like, you do it.
the top one or the bottom?
No,
No,
this
the bottom
bottom one.
one.
Like, what was he?
No way.
thinking?
If it was the top one, he wouldn't have hesitated.
it would have been a battle. They would have been
Oh,
just
yeah.
warfare, tripling each other. You know.
I'd have shot him so I could shoot it.
Yeah, I heard 2 shots. You're like, yeah, we need
Yeah.
to take Hunter to the hospital.
Yeah. Don't
He
know what
tripped and
happened.
fell.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No,
Yeah,
we've got some cool spots out there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun as heck. We'll see what we can do to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like it.
Well, freak yeah, my dudes. Well, we're very grateful you hopped on here with us today.
Oh yeah, anytime. We'll gather a couple more stories in between now and next time, and see what we can get into. I'm excited to hear from you guys and see getting after any bear or turkey. So
Mm-hmm.
Dude, heck yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully one or the other at least.
yeah, if not both.
Preferably both.
I'm hoping both, but
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, right on. Well, we'll let you get to it. We, as always, go check out our sponsors that we've got: MAHCO Outdoors, Slayer Game Calls, and ReadyWise Dehydrated Meals.
Freeze-dried.
Freeze-dried meals.
Freeze-dried
That's
meals.
what I said. Why the hell would you say dehydrated?
I heard it.
You know?
I heard
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know. I think that got edited out or something.
Yeah. Gee.
I like it, and I'll send you some pictures, some of the stuff we're talking about, and that way you can kind of put a picture to it. But
Yeah,
Perfect.
that would be awesome.
Sweet.
Heck yeah.
Right on.
Thank you guys.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
See you later.
Talk to you.